Welcome back, Shalloners, and welcome, Swifties, because today I want to talk about your girl, Taylor Swift, and namely her relationship with Joe Alwyn and what we can learn about it. Because you guys have been asking for this video for a while, like, tell us about her. Because I've been doing a lot of videos, like doing deep dives into a celebrity relationship, unpacking the dynamic, and, figuring out what we can learn from it and apply to our own lives. But with Taylor and Joe, I was always like, bleh, I kind of brushed it off because I'm like, I don't know, there's like nothing to talk about. They're so private. Bing. Then I was like, okay, that in and of itself is data. A very private relationship, good or bad. Because a lot of the questions you guys send me have to do kind of with this concept, but like without even knowing it. There's the issue of private versus secret. Ooh. And what I'm more interested in is the impact of social media on our romances. So we're going to break that all down because here's a hot take. My boyfriend of a year and a half, he and I don't follow each other on social media. I'll explain why. First, I want to let you know and remind y'all that if you want to talk to me privately one-on-one, you do it on the Instant Go app. Download and click chat. My username is ShallonXO. Click chat to be connected with me like right away. I have nothing to do. And follow me on social media because I want you to follow me. I don't want my boyfriend to follow me. On Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter at ShallonXO as well. So why don't I follow my boyfriend? That's weird. It's literally the weirdest thing most people have heard. They're like, what? I could tell them that I had two boyfriends or that we were in like some sort of three-wayship with a cocktail waitress. And they'd be like, but they'd be like, no, I don't let my boyfriend follow me and I don't follow him. They're like, what? So it's because the relationship I had before him basically was doomed because of social media. Like I was constantly looking at my boyfriend's page, at his tweets. He would be like in an argument with me and like subtweeting at the same time. And like it was good when he was subtweeting pleasant things, not so much on the flip side. I was constantly looking at the girls commenting on his page, like, who is she? Who the fuck is this girl? Blah, blah, blah. And he's a lot younger than me, so it was like I was like kind of extra paranoid because holy shit, girls his age were so desperate. Like girls were Snapchatting him pictures of them like peeing on the toilet. I wanted to DM them myself and be like, you need my channel. You need help. But we ended up breaking up because of things that he was tweeting. Like he was tweeting like monogamy is outdated. And I was like, oh, well, fuck me then because I'm monogamous to you. You don't see how that's insulting to me. And so dating this guy now, my boyfriend Max, I was like, I don't even want to like get into this. Like, I don't want to make myself crazy because I know me and I know I am a little on the crazy side. So I'm going to avoid those triggers. I'm going to cut that out of the equation. Now, the logical argument against that is like, well, Shallon, like maybe you needed to see what your ex-boyfriend was tweeting and who was commenting. Like you don't just bury your head in the sand about that. That's very, very true. But that boyfriend, Joe, was long distance. And so, yes, I needed to be following him to like keep tabs on him because I didn't have any, as much IRL interaction where I could gauge his interest, that I could gauge his level of commitment, that it's like, no, I know where he is like most nights of the week. Like I know he's not with that girl commenting hearts on her like potty picture, which is like so much worse than a nude. Like, is it not? It's so much like more intimate and disgusting. Blah, girls. But like with my boyfriend now, we're in the same city. So it's like, I know where Max is. I know he's usually at my house. I'm not in New York right now. He's there. He's at my place. And I also realized like, no, I need to develop not my stalking skills, my intuition. I need to get in touch with that infallible, never wrong female instinct, the instinct that keeps us alive, right? And we as women are taught to ignore this. You're acting crazy. Is that not exactly what you tell a woman when you want to control her, when you want to manipulate her into being quiet? You're being crazy. Oh gosh, I better not set up any boundaries or ask for what I need or raise my standards a little bit. I don't want to be called crazy. Call me crazy. I am crazy, but I'm hot, so it works. Ha! And so I'm like, all right, with Max, I'm going to develop that intuition. I'm going to get those antennae up and be like, is something wrong or is something okay? And I mean, so far it's worked. And you know what? I've also just kind of come to terms like, if he has a whole other life, it's probably not going to be on Instagram. Do you know what I mean? And if he's cheating on me, if he's like secretly a heroin addict, if he claps when the plane lands and I haven't noticed, I will find out eventually. And when I do, we'll break up and it'll be horrible, but I'll survive. And I think I've talked about this briefly, like after my marriage ended, it was literally the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And everything I was afraid of happening did happen. Every awful thing. Lost my house, lost my status as a wife, that's like significant, like lost the love of my life. But I survived. Life kept going on. There were still good times to be had. So it's like, I have no fear of death anymore, like there's nothing to take away from me because I know I am so in touch with how strong I am. And so it's like, okay, I can just let go and relax into a relationship. And if it goes south, whatever, like I'll love again. What do you think? I'm never going to get laid again for the rest of my life? Okay. So what does this have to do with Taylor and Joe, right? Well, Taylor, we love her because she's so like, oh, this is my life, this is my heart, this is who I love, this is who's hurt me. And like, that's what we connect with. That is what her career is founded on. I mean, the song Dear John is about John Mayer. Way to not even change names. Love it, girl. Love the literalness. And because I'm that petty too. It's like every guy I wrote about in my last book, that was his name. I'm like, whatever, go fuck yourself. Don't mess with the writer. But I think after especially the Calvin Harris breakup, because that was messy, that she was like, like subtweeting her victim narrative, which is ongoing. And that is her bread and butter. And Calvin Harris was like, not today, babe, not me. And he just came for her. And I was like, oh, God. By the way, I've seen his nudes. Taylor, you are dumb. You should have held on to that boy. Wild ride. Anyway, so I think she shifted completely to the opposite side with Joe Alwyn. Like, you never see them together. They never talk about each other. They never take pictures. None of those god-awful Tom Hiddleston photo ops. No more of these like cheesy 4th of July parties where everyone's wearing like matching onesie, whatever it was. It was just so like, it was so much, She's kept it really low pro. And I can't help but wonder if Taylor has sort of reached the same conclusion with Joe that I reached with my boyfriend. It's like, you know what? We're keeping this to ourselves. We're keeping this, like I am keeping the data in real life. I'm not stalking, we're not doing this whole digital thing. And they probably do follow each other. For celebs, it's not necessarily about like that, but it's like, it's very interesting that she's chosen to keep it so private. But like I said, what's the difference between private and secret? There is a very, very big difference. And as out there as I am in these videos, like talking about everything I've gone through, like if you look at my Instagram, like boys are very, very rarely on it. Like I posted one picture from my wedding. Like I rarely posted my husband. I rarely post Max. Like I don't know. I think more than anything, I'm superstitious and I'm afraid of looking stupid. Because a lot of you guys are like, Shallon, would you look at my profile? I realize now just saying that I've opened up the floodgates, but that's okay. I will. Or like so I stalk you guys sometimes when you friend request me because my profile is private, mostly because I'm applying for new jobs. So I don't want people to be like, who is this person? I just want to keep it to the Shallon entourage. But like, I see things on your page and I'm like, girl, you're going to regret that. You're going to regret that gushy post. You're going to regret having his picture in your profile pic. You're going to regret having like heart as your bio and the date you guys met or became official. Like, because every public thing you do, you have to publicly undo. And it's like, how do you declare a divorce on Instagram? Like, we all know how to declare a coupling, a partnership, a happy thing. How do you declare something that isn't so happy? Well, my boyfriend cheated again. Like, that's tacky and weird. Definitely don't do that. But like, are you supposed to say something? But you don't have to face that if you never are super ostentatious about it in the first place. You know what I mean? So consider in your next relationship, not making it public. You know what I tell guys that I meet? And like, this is before Max. I'm like, they're like, what's your Insta? I was like, I'm not going to follow you. And they're like, what? I'm like, I don't follow people. I'm not going to Google you. I'm not going to follow you. I'm going to judge you based on who you are. And I'm an excellent judge of character. I know if you're lying. I know a lot about lying. So, and people are like, oh, what do you mean you're not going to judge me based on this very carefully curated public persona I have on my social media page? So that could be a way to kind of shake things up. And I think it kind of like weeds out some fuckboys because people use their social media for good and for evil. It's a commercial for your life. And some commercials are very truthful and some are very misleading. So I think that there's something to be said for like keeping your relationship off social media and keeping yourself out of a guy's social media. But yeah, let's go back to the public versus, or the private versus secret. My boyfriend is private, but he's not a secret. And I know that it can be hard to like differentiate. It's like, well, I haven't met his friends. So am I a secret? Like, I haven't met his family. And that's a big thing. It's a question I get a lot from you guys. Like, why haven't I met his family? People have an extremely complicated relationship with their family. Even if you think you know the dynamics and the angles, you don't. He might not even understand them. You don't know his history with girls and the family. Maybe they've said horrible things to girls he's dated. But, maybe it's because, his family's super Jewish and you're Catholic and like, they're never going to accept you. So there's no real reason to even bring you around. You know what I mean? But again, you need to kind of like get a sense of that. If your intuition is like, I think I'm kind of a secret. I think a good rule of thumb, it's like, if you haven't met his friends, that's bad. Because friends are memory keepers and friends are historians. And if you and your relationship with him turns out to be like way outside the purview of his usual behavior, maybe you guys have this really stormy, shitty relationship and his friends are like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you didn't act like this with Kristen. Why are you acting like this with her? He might not want that data. He might not want that data getting to you. But, it's more of an individual thing. But like, there's something to be said for not being super out there. And I used to get mad at my boyfriend. I was like, have I been on the grid? Am I on the grid? Oh, I'm only on the story. That's interesting. And now I'm like, you know what? Let him do his grid how he wants to do it. I'm a grid how I grid. You grid how you grid. So what we can take from Taylor is just kind of the idea that like, not everything has to be out there in a super public way. One of the things one of my best friends from college said to me like a few months ago, I was considering leaving my job, which I did. And I was like, I honestly I find myself going to these events, these celeb events, these like big glittery New York City events, like for the gram. Like if I'm being honest, like I think like, wow, this is going to look great. It's going to seem cool, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, it's such a simple and obvious thing to say. She's like, if you couldn't photograph anything or post about it, would you still want to go? And I was like, that should of course be the question I'm asking myself like an adult, but I'm not an adult. On paper, my government age says I am, but I think at this point, we all know differently. And so I was like, she's onto something. And the same with your relationship. If you couldn't post about him, would you still want him? Do you only want him because, yeah, he's the lacrosse captain and he is so cool and you're going to feel cool by proxy, by being near him. And that's going to solve all your self-esteem issues, all your social issues, blah, 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 blah. If you couldn't go public with this person, like say that you had an incredible relationship behind the scenes, it wasn't you were keeping each other secret, that you were like super in his life, but nobody else knew, would that change your mind? And if the answer is like, kind of yes, you're doing this for the wrong reasons. This is a person who is representing something. They're a role in a play. They're here to serve a purpose. They're a getaway car for anxiety. And those people become hurt lockers. And like I've discussed before, hurt lockers are the people where we put our hurts. You get fixated on the popular guy. It's like, I love him. I have to have him. I'm never going to forget about it because he is going to be the one to save you from your college age angst. Or like, you can't let go of that guy you dated right after college because he was the guy who was going to marry you and keep you from having to figure out what your career is actually going to be because you would just rather be a wife and not have to think about it. So, but when we can recognize that, the knots loosen. I know this video has gone like, it's taken a bunch of different twists and turns. It started out about Instagram and now here we are on a different astral plane of thought, woke and powerful. If you guys have more questions about this, I'm happy to discuss it. I also realize like there's a lot to talk about with Taylor Swift, her victim mentality, her feud with Kim Kardashian that she will not let go. She will not let it go. Is Taylor Swift the ultimate Regina George? We can talk about it. We'll discuss it. But like I said, if you want to talk to me privately, your own personal Regina George, because I will hate whoever you tell me to. By the way, I'm just like a gun for hire. If you want me to cyberbully a girl who's being mean to you, I will. Find me on the Instant Go app. My username is ShallonXO and click chat to get connected right away. And also find me on social media at ShallonXO on Insta, Twitter, and Snapchat. And click like and subscribe for new videos all the time.